Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Python with Friends. Today, we're going to be talking about tidy data in Pandas, using Pandas. And I'll just take this time to show you a paper written by somebody on tidy data. We'll just rush there. Give me one moment. Tidy data paper. And yep, I think this is the one. Yeah, it's free online, written by, I think it's Hadley Wickham. I hope that's how to pronounce his name. He worked mostly on R Studio, R programming language, but Pandas sort of came out of R, right? So there could be a lot of similarities. So if you just Google this paper and you come across it, and you are a Python user, you don't need to go beyond page 13, stopping here, because every other thing he talks about here is something more on R, and some of the R users claim that what he talks about is presently outdated. I wouldn't know that much because I don't use R too much. I last used R whilst I was doing my MSc. So anyway, what is this paper talking about? It's just talking about how do we know when a data set is not computer ready. I mean, that's my own interpretation of what he said. And he tried to find some ways of defining what we need to do to tell that a data set that's been collected is computer friendly, as it were. So he said each variable should form a column, and then each observation should form a row. That was what he was trying to, to say. And here he talked about messy data sets, and he gave about 5 most common mistakes or whatever people do to make a data set to be very messy. For us, this is what we'll concern ourselves with. Just these 3, right? And we'll not bother ourselves with the last 2. I think the last 2 has to do more with data storage, but let's let them be and worry about the first 3 that we just sticked here. 1, 2, 3. So without much ado, as usual, we're gonna hop into our Colab and see how we can tackle some messy data. New notebook. Let's wait for it. There we go. So tidy data, I'll just call it 0, 1. And what we have to do, as usual, we import, let's import numpy as NP, We might not use it much, but I just like importing it sometimes. Import pandas as PD, and then we run. While it is trying to run, let's just have a look at our data set. Well, let's look at the paper first, then we look at the data we want to play around with. This is the first one. This must be the Pew data set. Pew, religion. So let's look at this data set. What does it tell us? I mean, it's humanly readable. This is the heading religion, and this is the name of the religion. Some are agnostic, some are atheist, some are Buddhist. This is their income. Let's read what it says here. This data set explores the relationship between income and religion in the US. It comes from a report produced by the Pew Research Center, an American think tank that collects data on attitudes to topics ranging from religion to the internet and produces many reports that contain data sets in this format. The first 10 rows of data on income and religion. So this is their income, right? So all those people who registered as agnostic, how many of them have, or let's say earn less than $10,000, I believe, a year? So 27 said that. And between 10 and $20,000 a year, 34 said that. 34 respondents said that who happen to be agnostic. So for Buddhists, for Catholic, so Catholics seem to be the richest in America, right? Apparently so. No, we have Evangelical Protestant, 574. This one seems to be the highest, but this is not all the list. We have more down there. This is just like the first 10. Now we are just viewing here. So let us look for this data set, and we'll just do a simple Google search. Pew.csv. Sure, we're going to get it somewhere. This looks like it. If you remember what we're looking at. Let's go through it. Let's see. And as usual, the way we do it, we hit on the raw. And this is the data. And we just get the URL. So we can just say URL equals that. We run it. And we say, let's call it Pew, right? Equals pd.read underscore CSV URL, and we just do pew.sample, just put 3 or so. All right. So what's wrong with this data? We have to now go back to our paper. Column headers are values, not variable names. These are values. And if they are values, then there's a problem, right? This looks like a column header. Why are they values? I mean, they are string values, so they shouldn't be there. They should be somewhere there in the column, not the headers. So that's a problem. So what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? We're going to use a method. Remember our video on functions, we explained that a method is an inbuilt function in Pandas, or in any of the libraries you're going to use in Python. So let's do pew dot melt. Now I have not really used this very well in the past, so I will need some tips. Okay, what am I seeing here? I need to pass this ID verse and value. I don't really know what all these things are. I hardly know, but I'll just move this aside and I'll be watching it from the corner of my eye so that I'll be sure what I'm doing. All right, so I move here and I open this bracket and I put ID verse. What do I think this means? What this means is that what column do I want to allow it to remain the way it is? I think religion should be the one that should stay the way it is. And I think there's so much work to do here. So I'm going to use my method chaining method. I mean, I didn't invent it, but I just discovered it a few weeks ago and I'm so in love with it. Yeah. Yep, that's correct. That is correct. So I'm going to run that. And you can see what has happened here. What happened is that we kind of pivoted. Let me just get my annotation tool here. We pivoted that, which was value, because it's giving us information about something. That should be income. We pivoted it down. And you can see we give it a new column, so variable value. And if we check here, we'll see value vars, none. So we didn't pass anything for value vars. We didn't tell it, okay, we need this value down in any column. We just passed it the column name religion because that's the one we want to allow. Then the rest, it should find a place to arrange it. We have to trust Pandas that they won't make any mistakes. Whatever arrangement it made here is accurate. The difference between this and this is that this is humanly readable. This one is more computer friendly. So that when you want to make some other analysis, like you want to, what you want to do, maybe do a group by, for instance. This is what you're going to use, not the first one, because that one will be difficult for you to do group buys. Everything we've learned in the past, some of the things you want to do will be a bit difficult. Let's see. So let's give them names. Let's give them names. What names should we give them? Just give me 1 sec, 1 moment. These are the attribute names we're going to use. We're going to use value name, variable name and value name. So I could just copy this, just the two of them, and paste them here. So first I have to put that comma, and then, so probably we don't need U anymore. I need space here. Value name should be, what do we want to put there? Let's say income. And we can call it annual income. Annual income. Then value here should be number of respondents. What do you think? So, oh, great, it worked. So religion agnostic, those who earn less than $10,000 a year, 27, which is not too far from what we got. Sorry, let me use head here. So you see agnostic 27, those who earn less than 10K. Okay. Atheists, same thing, 10K. Do we have atheists here? 12, 12. All right. Buddhists, less than 10K, 27. Buddhists, less than 10K, 27. And so on and so forth. So what do you think about this data right now? We have made it so machine friendly. You can now do your group by. Let's see. What we can do is we can save this. We can call it what? Pew. What name should I give it? What variable name should I give it? View adjusted, maybe. And I like copying and pasting sometimes. Some people say it's not really good, but all right, I give it a variable name. I've stored this data frame in this variable name. So if you remember our group by, we're going to do it, let's say annual income. Sorry. I keep thinking I'm on the digital, I'm on the Jupyter Lab on my machine. So I'm going to aggregate them by annual income, right? And then I'll see how many people responded based on each income. Then I'll maybe find the maximum or maybe find the sum. Yeah, maybe I'll find the sum instead. So let's do it this way. Number of respondents, then I look for the sum. Just annual income, no religion, nothing. So of all the people who responded, those who had annual incomes of 10 to 20K were 2,781. And those who had less than 10K and 1930. Alrighty. What if I want to check? Based on religion. Sorry. Religion, the only number we can do any arithmetic operation in. The only column we can do that on is the number of respondents. So that's the only column I'm going to use. Number of respondents. Let's see, max. Yeah. However, if we wanted to also check income, we might want to, do some cleaning, which I don't want to do here because it's going to get a little bit too complicated for this short video. I'm going to try another piece of another data. I'm going to get another data and try and see what we can do with it. Give me one moment. Let me fetch it. This one is billboard.csv. Somebody must have collected this data a while ago. Here they are. This is from the site of our data set. Yeah, I think it's one of the data sets here. Okay, yep, this is his GitHub page. This is the first one we did. And we transformed it like this. Oh, okay. I called mine annual income. He called his income. I called mine number of respondents, but he called it frequency. That was interesting. And this is the one we want to deal with here now. Okay. Let's see what we can do. All right, Billboard, we found the author's GitHub page, and this is a data set. Okay, this is how the guy looks like. Great. I hear he just won an award in statistics. Some people call it the Nobel Prize of statistics. It's not a Nobel Prize, but that's what people call it. So what do I do now? I call it URL2. And, oh, sorry. Let's see how it goes. So what do we call it? We call it BB, since we're talking about Billboard. BB equals pd.read underscore CSV. I can see CSV, so we don't need to pass anything. URL2, then we'll call it BB. I'm having some problems. Yeah, I think there's a way he stored his data that is not, I mean, I could search it and see how to solve it, but I would rather find somebody else who was able to store his own in a way we could download. Let's see the next guy here in the list. Chen Daniel looks the same. Looks like it's the same data. Let's hope it doesn't give me problems. Well, this guy's on red. All right, sorry, let me shrink this a bit so that we can see almost everything. So what is wrong with this data? It's the same question we've been asking. Your column headers should not be values, they should be names. But here we're seeing here, somewhere here, week 1 is a value. It's a piece of information. I need it to be inside a column, not as a column header. So I think we can use the melt. The melt should work. All right, so I'm going to say bb.melt. How did we do it the first time? Sorry, I need to check. Okay, ID verse, we call it religion. You know, the first time I did it, I had to copy from the example. I just shut it down. Anyway, I could bring it out again. It's easier for me to see what I'm doing, what I'm working with. Okay, so We open that, and what are we? ID underscore vars, and we're going to say equals. Then we're going to open. Let me do something else. bb.columns. I like doing this just to bring out the list of all the columns I'm going to copy. So I think that I should retain. Sorry, I can enlarge it again so they can see what I'm doing. I think that I should retain year, artist, track, time, and date entered, but everything else should be pivoted, should be melted. I was told that the word melt also comes from the R wall. That's how much Pandas sort of depends on R. Well, depended on R before it exploded on its own. I think this is okay. I'm going to use my method of chaining so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm calling the BB data frame, and then I'm trying to do this melt thing to it. All right, I'm sure it's not going to be angry with me. So I run it. Okay, we have done it. So this variable name, of course, we're going to call it week. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to put a comma here. We're going to get it. And this is what we're going to call variable name here, week, value, name, value. So I'm going to copy that. Paste it here. I like chaining them. I like chaining them like this. So variable. So that's going to call it weaker. And then value. That should be position, because we're talking about music, right? Week 1, it was number this on the Billboard top charts. Week 2, it was, so I'll call it position. I think I should call it position. That makes more sense to me. I will check what he did. What happened here? Week, what's wrong? I put my comma correctly. Why is it giving me errors? Oh, I know why. This guy's should be here in the melt. Yep. So I have to put a comma here and drop him. And then I need to just move you so that you look decent. And let me run. Yep, it's correct. It worked. That was an attribute that was supposed to be in the melt method, not outside it. So by putting it outside this, because this bracket corresponds to this bracket, and once it's outside it, it's outside the melt method. That was my mistake. Okay, so we have week, we have position. Let me check our data. What did he call it when he adjusted it? He called it rank. He called it rank. All right. Rank. So this is week 76. How many songs stay on the Billboard for 76 weeks? So very few songs would be on the Billboard for that long. So that's why we have not a number. That means there was no entry for that song for that week. So this song, whatever this song was, Yankee Gray, had no entry in week 76. That means it must have dropped out of the Billboard. Okay, Yankee Gray is the name of the artist. Whatever song he had, the track's name was Another 9 Minutes, was not on the Billboard chart by week 76 after it first entered. This is the date it entered first. So we could play around with this data. We could check it out. We could see what it has for us. So one of the things we do is that what do we call this? BB adjusted. Just thinking of a name to call it. Then we come down here and we say BB adjusted dot I just use dot head. Everybody uses dot head. I'm just the one that likes using a sample. All right, we can get rid of this. I like printing this out so that I can just easily copy the names of the columns. That's why I have that there. So let's do our group by. So I'm going to just use this cell here and do my group by. Group by is a method, so I need to put a round bracket. And then I just like putting my square brackets just to prepare myself that I might want to put a list. Should I do by artist? That's what I like doing this, so that I can just do my cut and paste without having errors. So if I do group by, the next thing I can play math on is position. So I'll subset by position. And because we're dealing with rank, I want to see the minimum value, because the lower the number, I didn't even check if that value is an integer. I hope it is. The lower the number, that means it was number one, or let's see the best. By artist, I want to see those who had number ones. Let's see. Does that work? No, it doesn't. What? Column not found. Position. Oh, again, I made the same mistake. I'm supposed to. The adjusted one is not the one I use. That was why I was getting this error. Why am I getting so many errors today? Anyway, it's good to have some of these errors so I can know where your mistakes. Aha! 2-pack. 72. Wonder what that means. 1. Position. I was checking the minimum number. I wasn't counting it. So let's try sum. What does sum mean? All the entries. 2-pack had 598 different rankings. I mistakenly used position. He used rank, which is actually more appropriate. It explains what we're dealing with here. Anyway, like I said, this is just a video to talk about tidy data. Sometimes when people collect data on the field, they collect it the way it makes sense to them, but it probably won't make sense to the computer. And so knowing how to tidy it, arrange it such a way that you can run some analysis on it is a tool that you need. And this is one aspect. We'll try to go through the other ones that I tried to share with you here based on this lovely work here. So we have tried to check how this is done. So next week, probably we'll try and check. So next time, actually, we'll try and see how we can implement this. We can notice this on our data set, and then we'll correct it. Yeah, that is what we're going to do. Yeah. So if you like this video, please hit the like button. You can also hit subscribe and then also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I make new videos. So happy coding, everyone. Bye-bye.